Now I'm still getting ready to do this with the sponge, but I just wanted to talk to you about the bucket. When you get done with that, don't pour that down the sink. Okay, thinking it's just dirty water. It's not dirty water. If you remember, this is sanded grout, so it's got little tiny bits of sand in there. If you pour that down a drain, guess what? All the sand bits are going to be caught down into the P-trap, underneath your sink, in your toilet, in your janitor's utility sink, all that kind of stuff. So what I'm gonna end up doing when I get all done with that, I'll pour the water out outside. Okay, and if you got a landscaped area, you could throw the remnants in there and kind of mush it in your bark or your sand, dirt, whatever. But what I'll probably do is I'll pour the water out, and then depending where I'm pouring it, where I'm dumping it, I might take a paper towel and wipe in there and try to get most of the excess sand out of there before rinsing the bucket out and tossing that into the bushes or something like that. Okay, be mindful of that. Well, that's actually pretty amazing. It's 12:37, believe it or not, and at 11:37 is when I started. Okay, we're talking an hour, and the grout is still drying. And all I can think of is maybe it's 65 degrees in here, 63, who knows? No, it doesn't feel that cold. We're in the shade. This is a concrete subfloor that's 20 years old, and it's just taking a while for this to dry. So I'm just going to let it do its thing. I'm not going to do it too soon, because then I'm going to get unevenness on here. What you want to do is when you're doing a patch, you want to try to blend in to your other grout lines, and your grout lines should be just slightly depressed, just a little bit, not very much. And the last thing you want is to do a patch and just go over and say, I don't have time for this. I'm not gonna wait anymore. I'm just gonna go ahead and do it. And then you've got sways in it, and it's a little deeper in certain areas than others. And depending where it is, you're going to say, yeah, I did this patch, and somebody's going to look at it and they're going to say, oh, nice job. But in their mind, they're going to be like, that looks like crap. Why didn't he do it better than that? How come he couldn't wait longer to blend it in? See, we're at the front door, and obviously I was telling you there's going to be a rug in here by the front door, but it's not going to go all the way to the door. And so there's going to be a little bit there. This is the main hallway going down to the bedrooms and the rest of the house. And then the kitchen is over there. This section here, everybody's going to see every time they come in here. But granted, when's the last time you came into somebody's house and they had a tile floor like this and you looked around at the grout lines? Probably never. Because when they installed all this tile, it was all done at the same time. It all looks pretty much the same, unless you got down there with a fine-tooth comb and start feeling your fingers on there and seeing in certain areas where it's slightly deeper. I can see there that this grout is just a hair deeper right there than it is over here. I can see that. But when I come in the house, I'm not going to be looking around like that, and probably neither are you. Okay? But still, the point is, this is a patch, and I want it to blend in the best that I can. I've got it to this point. What's waiting an extra 15, 20 minutes? Whatever you got to do. Hey, here's the other thing too. If you got a patch like this, and you want to throw it in between now and the time you have to leave for work, or you have to go somewhere for dinner, you have to meet somebody in an hour, and you think, oh, I can do this in an hour, and then you run through it, and you don't wait a long enough time, and the grout isn't drying yet, and you whisk through it. Okay, you got it done, but you should have waited 15, 20 minutes to make it look primo, but you didn't. Okay, I don't have anywhere else to go. I don't care how long it takes for this to get drier. Okay, I can sit here for another 45 minutes if I have to. I'm not going to have to wait. But the point is, don't be in a big old rush. Take your time. Make sure you do it right. Allow yourself plenty of time. Don't be running off thinking you're going to go somewhere in an hour and a half. Oh yeah, I'll be done in 2 hours. That should be plenty. You know, as it was, when I did this patch, when I started removing the grout, the loose grout, I had it fully anticipated in my mind. Oh, I'm going to do all that, and I'm going to mix up the new grout, and I'm going to patch it the same day. It was getting late in the afternoon, and I almost started putting it on about 5 o'clock, and it was going to get dark at 6 something, and I could have done that, but I didn't, and I'm glad I didn't, because I wanted to make videos of it anyway, and I didn't want to do it in the dark and have to have construction lights in here and all that kind of stuff. But here's my point. Just, you know, if your gut is telling you, yeah, maybe I should do the grout another day, do it in another day. As it was, I had this grout line open after I cleaned it and everything and swept it all and vacuumed and all that kind of stuff. I left it open for 3 or 4 days. Every day something else came up. Well, I guess I'm not doing it today. I guess I'm not doing it the next day. I guess I'm not doing it the next day. Here we are about 4 days later before I got the grout down. I'm in good shape. I can stay here as long as need be. Sometimes you have to change your schedules around, or you have to change your time frame in which it takes for you to get the whole project done. Okay? Remember stuff like that when you're doing patches. That's not just for grout. That's for painting. That's for installing baseboard. That's for cutting in, installing a light switch, putting in a ceiling fan. Whatever it is you got to do, make sure you got enough time to do it right. Okay, one more thing before I start wiping this down. Why is it taking this long? Maybe it's because it was too wet. Maybe I put it on too wet and you've got so much more moisture in there. But you saw how I had it. You can't really mix it up much drier than that. I guess I could have tested it out, and I could have put a little bit more in there and made it a little bit less soupy, but it wasn't necessarily that soupy when I put it in. Okay? It's just different things like that. The more patches you do, the more information you're going to learn as you go along. There's only so much you can learn by watching a video. Only so much you can learn by reading how to do something. It's time to get nitty-gritty, get down in there, and the more you do yourself, the more you're going to learn. Okay? That's just how it's going to work, and that's for pretty much anything. And when I talk about anything, I got probably 3,700 DIY videos on my YouTube channel. All kinds of stuff. You want to see that? I've actually did you a favor, put them in playlists for electrical, for painting, for carpet, for cleaning, for miscellaneous, for drywall, all that kind of stuff. Just go to my main YouTube channel page, click on playlists, and scroll down through the mini topics, and then click on one of those and scroll through. You'll see, it'll show you how many videos I've got for electrical, how many videos I got for doors, how many videos I got for painting, all that kind of stuff. And then you scroll through those and look at the titles and see which ones. And hopefully, and I say hopefully, I'm sure you're going to find something there that you can save money around the house. Try it. Okay, I guess I've waited long enough. I've felt this, the grout, and I can't depress it now. Okay? If you can depress it and push it in too far, you may want to let it dry up a little bit. And because I'm using this type of sponge, you know, just a regular kitchen sponge, it's slightly different than the tile sponges. The tile sponges are thicker and stuff, and I probably could have done that, you know, flat, but and not let it not wait as long, you know. So I'm just going to start wiping this off, and I'm going to do it nice and easy and a little bit at a time. Pressing a little harder where I need to, you know, on the outside. And if I have to use the scouring side, I will. See, I'm on the scouring side. I'm just kind of going over the top right now. You know, getting the excess off and stuff. I'm not like depressing that line in. And I could have started this a little bit sooner. Because see, I can wipe it off now, and that's good. But see, I can still work it. Okay. And I can see I need to just work it a little bit, you know, back and forth. And you'll see pretty much how much to do it. I mean, I could even do that if I feel like I need to. I can do the scouring side just a hair more to get it the same down there. And then I might have to depress it just a little to get it about where I want it. Had I not, see, like I say, there's a fine line. Had I not waited as long, I would have been able to mess with it a little bit less. Know what I mean? Okay. And when I get all done, if I really wanted to do, well, when I get to this point, I'm just going to keep going. But if I want to do just a hair more, I could take one of those, that little metal brush to it, or even my toothbrush. Yeah, that was the one I kind of goofed up on initially, right? I think I just got to kind of depress it a little bit here, because that was the one that was kind of slightly off. All right. I could see, in fact, I did too much right there. Look at that. I did just slightly too much. And I've got a little bit in here, but it's not. It's all dry now. I'll get some off of this next bit. I'm just using my scouring side, and I don't want it to get flat. I want it indentated, because I know the edges are indentated. Okay. So, if anything, maybe I want it just slightly indentated. Starting from the very corner, right up next to the carpet. Now I wonder if I should go the extra mile, and let's see, because I waited ever so slightly little. You're gonna have to humor me. I got a little spoon. Okay. Let's just see if I can get it just depressed in there, just a hair. It wasn't much, but see, I waited just a hair too long, whereas before it was too soon. Okay, so I know the next bits. I just got to work a little faster. And I can, because it's hardened up just about right. taking my scouring side. Now, you don't have to do your scouring side if you get it just exactly at the right time, but and I'm still thinking it's ever so high. Okay, so I can do that with my finger and depress it just a bit. Now I know that grout line is just a hair wider than all the other ones because it had a slight crack to it from before, if you watch those videos. So I just want it, you know, I want it to look as best I can. That's all. Maybe feel like I'm depressing just a hair there. Okay, like that. Put my sponge on there. Okay, I think that looks pretty good. I don't think it's going to look any better than that if you were to pay somebody, you know, to come out and fix this. How much would they have charged you? $150, $200, $250 to take that little grout line out and come out here the first time, look at it, go pick up his material and sit here and wait for it to dry, mix it up, all that. He'd still be out here. Just this little project, 4 hours, maybe more, $150 an hour. What's that, 600 bucks? You can get you can get a handyman to do it. Maybe he'll charge you $400, but it's not going to look much better than this. And in fact, if he doesn't do it exactly at the right time, maybe you'll see it and think, oh man, why didn't he wait a little bit longer before he wiped the grout off? And where these transitions are, I need to make sure that it's just the exact same, so it doesn't look like there's anything in there, see? And this line is just a hair bigger. Yeah, I'm liking that. I think I can live with that. And even the little bits where I use the nail set to try to get out some little areas, you got to be really careful because if you hit some heavy grout, you think most of it's loose, but there's a couple spots and you say, I'll just take my nail set or take something else. If that pushes in at an angle just ever so slightly, all it has to do is hit the edge. I didn't hit the edge with the nail set on the point of the nail set. It was the edge of the nail set. You see, and it's slightly chipped, some of the tile, but if I wasn't paying any attention, I could have chipped a whole lot more, cracked the tile, you know? Okay, so I'm actually liking that, and I'm going to keep going just like that for the rest of it. Okay, and what I ended up doing, I took my wet finger a couple times, passes through there, boom, 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 you know, as that was drying to wipe off some of the excess. You could do that with a wet finger and stuff. And then when I get the rest of this exactly like this over here, if I'll look at it again, and if I want, what can I do? Well, I can take my metal brush, my scrub brush, if I want it, you know, if I saw a little high spot or something, and do a little bit if I want it, if I thought I needed to. And I know, like I said, even if this was exactly the same grout, let's say I had a bag of the existing grout when my parents purchased this house, and they probably did, and over the years it could have been used, or it could have been thrown away. Lots of times, whoever's doing your grout and your tile, make sure they save some extra pieces. I've seen some extra pieces in a storage area in the garage, but I didn't see any grout. But what I'm saying is, even if I would have found the exact same grout, it would look lighter than everything else, because this grout is 20 years old and it's dirty, it's discolored. If the sun hits it in certain areas, and that, you see what I mean now? And so over time, this is gonna relax. It's gonna change colors ever so slightly. I'm just gonna depress this with my finger a little. It's gonna change slightly, and then it's gonna get slightly from wear and tear and walking people down the hallway. It's going to get a little discolored, and it's going to blend right in with the others. So I'm not really too concerned. And when it lightens up, it's going to change. It's going to slightly change this. Now, I'll just before I do the rest, you see how that color is just slightly different than these? Well, first off, it's not exactly the same stuff, and secondly, this other stuff is dirty. I've cleaned it 3 different times over the last 10 years. There's no way I'm going to be able to match this exactly. Even if I would have thought, okay, I want one tinge lighter than this, then guess what? Maybe it blends in right this minute, but down the road, when the traffic patterns get through here and when everything gets dirty, you might look at this line and say, son of a gun, VideoJoe was right. It's not blending in now. It's darker than everything else, slightly. You see what I mean? Because it'll get discolored and you try to match it exactly 20-year-old grout color. So I'm not really too concerned about it. And as it is, I'm actually quite pleased at how close it is, because if you look at that, you look at the next line, and look at this line. Doesn't it? It almost looks the same. And mind you, this is still wet. That grout line is still wet. It's going to take hours for that to dry. All the moisture. It's like a wet sponge under there. It's got concrete or sand in it too, and that it's not going to have make the exact color that it is until tomorrow. Do you see what I mean? Because it's still drying out. When it's moist, it takes on slightly different color. And that's why when you're doing patches, it's very difficult to get the exact grout match. I don't care if it's in the kitchen, in a backsplash, a bathroom, shower wall surrounds, the shower floor, wherever it is. It's hard. It's just hard to get it perfectly matched. So you've got to think about that stuff. And they didn't really have anything much closer than this, so I thought, hey, I'm going to make it work. Worst case scenario later on down the road, if this looks a little bit lighter, which I don't really think it would be, you know what I could do? I could put anything on there to make it a little bit darker. I could put some dirt on there for that matter, wipe it in there, clean it back off, scrub it off with the simple green, and it would have just a hair dusting, cigarette dust, charcoal, you know, anything, oil, motor oil, dirty motor oil, in the garage, depending what you need. I wouldn't do that for this white, but I'm saying there's certain things you could do if you wanted to get it just slightly darker. But like I say, I'm really not going to worry about it. It's going to blend in. When people walk in here, the first thing they're going to say, do you really think they're going to say, what happened to your grout line right there? No, they're not going to. And over time, it's going to lessen and it's going to get dirty, okay, with just walking and stuff and cleaning. When the cleaners come here, they clean the floors, they mop the floors. You're going to get a little bit of dirtiness here over to there, over to there, over to there. Some of it's going to set on top of your grout line, and it's just, trust me, it's just going to start blending in. And as you can see, where I patched right there, you see this? Doesn't it look about the same as that over there? I think it's really gonna look good when it dries. It'll be fine. Okay, so I'm gonna keep working on this, and then I'll show you what I do up along that edge.